And right now, we've got the directors of Bend Studio, creators of one of PlayStation's biggest upcoming games, Days Gone, coming out next February. They announced the release date just recently, but here to chat before the Sony press conference is Bend Studio director Chris Reese. We've got game director Jeff Ross and creative director John Giovanni. Guys, great to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about Days Gone. I think everyone's familiar with it. We've seen it at E3s in the past. I recently got to play it a few weeks ago, and I gotta say, the thing that struck me about this game was that there's a lot of depth to the world, and we certainly, saw Deacon and the idea of, the bike being sort of a character in the story, but there's a lot going on in sort of, I describe it as sort of skirmishes. I mean, would you describe it as I don't know, you describe it as open world? How do you describe sort of the gameplay? Because I think one of the things I thought was, it felt like it was very emergent in terms of how you would play through the game.
Yeah, no, we totally set out to make a believable, realistic, relatable open world.
Yeah.
So just to respect the laws of physics in our world, but with 500 freakers bearing down on you at all times. Yeah. So there's a lot of really great sandbox strategies that come out of it. A lot of what we call strategic sandbox combat. Yeah. Meaning if the player can think of it, he can try it out and it'll probably work. It may blow up in his face, but the cause and effect is definitely going to be the result he was looking for. But it could be complicated by, hey, I was fighting these humans and some hordes heard these explosions and gunshots and they decided to come over and check it out.
Tell us a bit about the bike as a character, because that's something I think, when we talk to you guys, it's like it really becomes a key part of the game. This isn't just, any bike that you can just summon or go find one. It's like it's a character in the story, right?
It is. It very much is. And it's very important. If you leave your bike behind, that all of a sudden puts you in a compromising position. Yeah. And you need to upgrade that bike, which will pay back dividends because you can add, for example, saddlebags, which means you'll now be able to carry more ammo. Yeah.
Which factors in big time in this scenario right here, where you're taking on 500 plus horde, and you're going to need to go back and top off ammo at some point. So if you stage it properly, you can run back, stop by the saddlebags, reload all your weapons, and then go off into the field and kill the rest of them.
Tell us a bit about that sort of scarcity of resources and that balance between sort of making it a challenge but not making it too frustrating. How do you guys balance that out?
Yeah, that's probably been one of the biggest challenges, but really it's we kind of punish the player for using excess ammo by the escalation system. So this open world is responsive. If you do something, it's going to react. So again, if you shoot, if you're firing a lot of shots and creating a lot of explosions, you're going to bring in other freakers and other animals and other people who want to do you harm as well.
Well, and it'll totally affect how you play this scenario too. So you've got, if you've brought all the stuff you need to craft Molotovs, then that might be a strategy you would use. If you've crafted some crossbow bolts that are explosive, you could try that strategy. So it really just depends on how you want to play the game.
Tell us about this story, Deacon. What can we expect in terms of the narrative in this game?
So we're showing off a couple of different scenarios. One of our other scenarios shows how we're trying to integrate a sort of narrative into an open world. And so you start this, it's this truck stop called Crazy Willie's. Deacon's there because he's trying to get a bike part and he's risking his friend's life. So he's being a little bit reckless. And you see the consequences of that. And it happens while you're playing through. So you have a cutscene and then you play the open world. And then you have, a battle with our rippers who are going to be important to the narrative. And then you have another cutscene. So trying to get a seamless integration, both in terms of tone and storytelling in the open world experience was, I think, our goal from the very beginning.
Yeah, no, and again, it looks beautiful for Ben. This is such a massive project for you guys. I know you've been working on for many, many years. Tell us, how does the gameplay evolve? How does sort of your character and the gameplay evolve as you get further into the game?
Well, this is, like John talked about, having the open world gameplay and the narrative kind of fused together well. Well, in this case, in the Crazy Willie's scenario, his best friend gets hurt, and kind of it's his own fault. And 2 years in the apocalypse, this is where Deacon has to kind of step up and kind of really learn how to go it alone to help keep his friend alive. And that kind of mirrors a player's trajectory of having to learn the skills that he needs to do to survive in the world.
Wow. And it's a large open world, so the narrative sort of follows Deacon's journey, both physically, so there's key places where you make large journeys, and we open up new characters, new parts of the world, new gameplay, and at the same time you have the skill tree that you're really trying to put points into as you level up and gain experience.
Yeah, you got to build relationships with these encampments by doing work for them, and you're going to get bike parts from one encampment, you're going to get better weapons from another one. So the player really has to go out in the world and kind of, Deacon has to push himself as the player is learning to kind of push himself and adding to his own skill set and tool set for interacting with all of the complexities of the creatures coming at you at once.
Yeah, I was amazed when I A few months ago, we were in Vegas. You guys showed me the game, and I was just amazed at the depth of the bases and going in, and the different strategies and the ways that you can sort of play through this game. Not linear in any fashion, and it's really ambitious about what you're putting together. And we finally have a release date, February next year, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, well, congratulations, guys. This is an amazing project from PlayStation. Sony has so many big games that we actually get to show games like this before the press conference because it's such an epic year for PlayStation with so many great things. So congratulations, guys. I know it's been a passion project for a number of years, and you can certainly learn more about it and check it out in February. Thanks to the guys from Ben Studio. All right, we're going to check